Late May and early June, definitely a snoozer for NFL media, NFL news. But what isn't a snoozer is some of the best throws that quarterbacks through 2023. So that's what's coming up after the intro.
To become who we want to be as individuals, and at the end of the day, that's going to help us be a successful offense.
Man-to-man, one-on-one coverage because the safety rolls to Jefferson's side.
Jordan Love hit me up the night of the draft, just congratulated me, let me know it was time to work. A.J. Dillon was open arms.
Von Rock caught a ball with his thighs. We didn't even talk about that.
It was more of with his ass.
If he throws a good ball, this is a running, catching touchdown untouched.
Like, KP does like these flips after every win, and I'm like just waiting for him to do his flip.
To know that we still love each other, that's what football brings us.
Across the safety's face.
You can tune in anywhere that you guys follow us on social media. Welcome to the Sleepy Practice Squad podcast. The month of May had, what do we have, like 5 news events that we actually want to cover from the past 4 weeks. Mark and I have been on a bit of hiatus, doing a little vacationing, doing a little golf trip. Sue us. But now we're back, and we are better than ever because I'm fired up to talk about the 4 things that did happen. But then more importantly, take a look at some of the best, like, long-distance big game throws from some of the best quarterbacks in the league. Mark, how are you doing? How was the golf invitational? How's life been treating you?
Life's been good, man. Life's been good. It's been busy. Summer picks up. As John and our lives, personal lives get busier, it seems like it matches up great with the NFL and college football because it's been pretty slow in the news world. We'll try to catch up on some of the biggest news events from the last month or so, but there's not a ton to cover.
I got 3 things for you, really 4. The first of which is starting with a now retired tight end, Darren Waller, who made, and look, it's not impossible to be an athlete and a musician. There's a lot of guys that do it really well. Justin Tucker can sing like an angel, for example, like full-on opera singer. I would not call that Darren Waller music video a quality piece of artistic content. I don't know if you would put it in that bucket.
I don't think there's many athletes that have the music ability where they should be posting anything, if we're being honest. I mean, even like Damian Lillard and people that have like real music out there, I mean, it's trash compared to like what musicians are doing. Like, you're one of the best players in your respective sport, probably stick to that and maybe avoid the music industry. I don't know why it's always an inclination for them to try to tap into a new market of music, but it's not for everybody. It's
along with that, if you're releasing music, maybe don't get into videography either, because I don't know what the drama is between him and Kelsey Plum, frankly. Like, I don't follow pop culture enough to know like what 2 B or C list celebrities are doing in their love life, but I sure as hell do not need a whole music video dedicated to it either, even if it was something I was following closely. So interesting piece. Enjoy retirement, buddy. Enjoy. I have a lot of respect for Darren Waller, by the way. Like, there's a lot that I liked about Darren Waller throughout his career. Just kind of a cringe way to go out. And I do feel bummed to say that.
Was it officially a retirement video, or was it a I'm not retiring video?
I think he officially retired the week after that. That's the word on the street.
He was like saying in the rap, he was like saying how like you shouldn't believe what you're hearing. And then, I mean, I don't know. Like, that's the whole problem with doing what he did is, what are you even trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish?
Well, apparently the Giants are saying that they are expecting him to retire, which I think is supposed to suggest that even if he isn't retiring, he's probably not a Giant next year then. I'm not
All
sure.
I know is it confused everybody, and if you're going to retire, you probably shouldn't do it by song. There's like, kind of makes your career a joke.
Could you imagine if Tom Brady like came out like with like a Sinatra style tune and was just like, I'm done playing football?
Ruin his legacy. You ruin your legacy. It's as simple as that. I mean,
oh yeah, I mean, he was pissed enough about how Adam Schefter dropped the news that he wasn't tolerating that. So
what are we supposed to? I mean, a simple tweet would suffice, right? It's got to be a rap song. Like, I don't know what's going on around the league where people think that that's necessary. John, I got a better piece of news that you probably weren't going to say.
which is
NCAA College Football 25, the video game, is coming to our TVs, PlayStations, Xboxes in about a month. Confirmed. We got a snippet, clips of the game, the gameplay. How hype are you? Are you getting back into your gaming? I know you still game a little bit, but you're more of like the Minecraft kind of.
Yeah, it's
that
a
kind of
peaceful
thing.
life. The Minecraft is like when you kind of retire and just become a farmer. Like and even then I don't really have the time for it anymore. But I will say this much. I'm very excited about it, and I'm excited because it looks very mechanically different than Madden. And so it's like,
Yeah.
okay, sweet. You're not just releasing Madden with like college.
Madden's
skins on
dead.
it.
Madden might be dead. Madden has been struggling. The only reason people have been playing Madden is because they stopped making the NCAA games for the last 10, 15 years.
So Madden's sweating a little bit, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of sad because, of course, in my era of playing it, they just didn't make the video game, and of course, 2 years after I'm done playing, they return the video game, which kind of sucks. But I will be playing that game religiously.
Hey, you can design your own Chippewa with a Mark Petrito face on it.
Of that game.
Yeah.
Is what we do. That's what we should do.
So we need a Mark Petrito in NCAA.
I think you could probably download like former rosters. I don't know, but it's not, everything about it's already making me excited because it sounds like they're doing it right, and they're trying to make it as much like NCAA 14 as possible, but also upgrading the game to a more modern style, just avoiding what Madden is. And it sounds like they're doing a good job. I mean, the gameplay looks sweet. It looks like they got it right. It looks pretty realistic. I just can't wait for an actual real football video game to come out that isn't shitty Madden.
Yeah.
People love the NCAA video game franchise.
Right. Another decent pair of news. We got 2 pairs of contracts that broke, both to the respective best player at their position on the offensive side of the ball. Justin Jefferson inks a massive contract, and Christian McCaffrey inks a massive contract. I don't think anybody's surprised about those. And the 49ers and the Vikings are both respectively in a position where they can afford to do that because they have quarterbacks and rookie contracts, which is really nice. What's your takeaway from that? And, what do you guys like maybe CeeDee Lamb potentially think of that? Or maybe Jonathan Taylor, who got not even close to that amount of money last year?
If you're one of the guys, you're one of the top guys and you're flirting with getting a new contract, it's the best news you could ever hope for because it resets the market and it gives you and your agent a whole new leg to stand on when it comes to your debate and when it comes to what your value is for your franchise. Matter of the fact is true. You said it. It's the 2 best non-quarterback offensive players in the league at their respective position. Justin Jefferson, at this point, I don't really think you can make an argument that there's a better receiver in the NFL right now. And Christian McCaffrey, even more obviously so, is the best running back in the NFL, and it's not really close. They both do things that others at their position don't do, and they do it consistently. And I always have an issue throwing guys a huge paycheck like that. In this instance, they both have earned it. They both are team guys that have really created no issues besides just production on the field. They don't have off the field issues. They're not a culture problem. They want to win. They're happy with where they are. They know what they deserved and they earned it. And them and their agent fought for it, got it. And now McCaffrey can help rebuild the next few years with the 49ers and try to go get the ring that they've been so close to getting. And Jefferson can help kind of rebuild this Vikings team, help with Darnold or JJ, whoever's taking the snaps, take the next step and hopefully make Minnesota relevant in the division and make a playoff push. So that's what they both want to do. The contracts help both those teams get closer to doing that. I think it's a win for everybody. Rare instance where players get gigantic amounts of money, and I actually have no issue with it.
Yeah, like you said, I think it's well-deserved to both of them. I think that, they do change the dynamic of the game. And that's the thing is, right, like you talk about certain players, quarterbacks, receivers, whoever, getting massive amounts of money. Like, I think the biggest thing, regardless of the position, is like, are they somebody who the other team literally has to game plan for just them, right? Like, do they alter the mechanics of the game to that extent? I would say without a doubt, both of those players fall in that category. I feel the exact same way. I don't know if we recorded with the Penei Sewell contract. I think we did because the draft was happening around the same time. But like same thing. Like I think that man is the best right tackle in the league. I think he will be one of the best tackles in the league for, ever. The fact that we locked him in for another 6 years, I think is an excellent move, right? It's those kind of players that deserve that kind of money. Then you talk about, and I'm not trying to just, go back to something that I think has been the butt of all jokes for a long time now, but the Deshaun Watson contract, which even in today's standards is a ridiculously insane amount of guaranteed money. And how much has he actually altered the game for the Browns? Hardly at all. Unproven.
Desperation.
Yep.
It's a desperation move.
And it puts him in a tough spot.
And I always say, you have to be careful with the judgment of those contracts. Obviously, it has not shaped up to be what they hoped it would be. But when it comes to quarterbacks, there's a little more wiggle room to swing and miss. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like at the time, you got to remember where Cleveland's been, as a franchise. You got to remember what Watson was doing early in his career. If he was the same player that he was in Houston when he went to Cleveland, I mean, we're talking Cleveland in the Super Bowl mix the last few years. He's had some obviously off the field issues. He's had some injury issues. If that dude is even a little bit like he was in Houston, that Cleveland team's a problem. I mean, Joe Flacco's giving him a chance to win games. So Deshaun Watson was a top 3 guy. It makes you
wonder, though. It's like, man, like if that's the case, like, where would they even be with Baker still at the helm there, right? Because I mean, he got cast away because of injury issues, and he's thriving in Tampa. So, 2 more things, and then we will hop into a little bit of film, breaking down some Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. You see those new Viking unis?
Some of the best, and you know what? They're the team. Everybody wants to do the whiteouts, the ice outs, right? Minnesota's one of the few teams that like fully deserves to do it. I mean,
they're the Vikings.
Minnesota.
Like, where are they from? Okay.
You know what I mean? Like Cincinnati doing it looks cool, but like not a huge fan of it. Like, the Lions doing it looks sweet, but it's really not theirs to do. This is like Minnesota's like what they should embrace this. Like they are the snow. They are Vikings, and so I think and also, I mean, they just the purple and white. They crushed it. They nailed it. Yeah. Anytime you can do a whiteout uniform, I don't care what team you are, you probably should because it's going to look sweet if done right. But Minnesota deserves to do this, and they pulled it off.
Agreed. I would say I would come to the defense of the Lions, saying we are also a cold Midwestern state,
right?
And our color scheme does go hard. But you're right. I mean, the Browns did it; it looked awesome. But like you're saying, like, is that really in their uniform palette? Not really. But it looks.
It's
sick,
a reach,
so
but we love to look at it.
Right, it's so
Miami's done it. It's like okay,
so sick.
But
yeah. But I don't know. And then the last thing I want to touch on. And I don't want to get too excited. It's minicamp. Who gives a shit?
So overblown, dude.
Super overblown. Everyone's going nuts about JMO right now. But I just really want to ask you, because you're the receiver in the room, and I want to see like academic question. Like, is this just Goff throwing an absolute dime, or JMO taking a step forward and tracking the ball? That's really all I care to show you this video for. I'm not here to hype it up. I'm literally here to ask you, like, everybody's saying, look how good the ball tracking is on this. Like, is that like textbook what you'd expect?
It's a great throw, first of all. Like, it's an absolute in the bucket throw. Not an easy throw either. Very, very good throw. Does he look a little bit more confident with the ball, tracking in the air? Yes, I would say that he does. But this is in practice. All he's been doing for the last 2 weeks is catching the ball, like just drilling the shit out of it. Can you do this at a high level consistently through the season? Can you continue to enforce yourself to catch hundreds of balls a day after practice, like guys like Amon-Ra do? You see him doing it all the time. Like, there's a reason those guys look confident catching it. It's because they do it nonstop. They go over the top. I hope he takes that next step, and I hope these rumors are true. I'm not going to believe it just because of a minicamp production level.
I need to see it in like you said, like week 1, he looks so ready to go. It's not even funny for me to fully believe it. Now, again, I have been strong on the JMO is not a bust train. And I think towards the second half of last season, he showed promise. Not so much, frankly, in his ability to be a top tier receiver with top tier eyes and hands. It was more so that he's such an athletic freak that he was able to just do things that other people, probably like, it's kind of like when you have a bunch of talent, you can get away with bad habits here and there because your talent bails you out. It would be great to see those two things come together because then you get a legitimate number 2 receiver, which with the departure of Josh Reynolds, the Lions like legitimately need at this point in time.
The reality, John, is this. It's a simple thing for Lions fans, and we have to come to the understanding of it is what it is. We drafted JMO. We reached for JMO. He needed to be a number 1 receiver with where we took him, moving up to get him. He's never going to be a number 1 receiver. We've already admitted that by signing Amon-Ra to a ridiculous contract like we did, right? There's not many teams that have 2 number 1 receivers. You can't really afford to do it. And we've accepted, at least the coaches and the franchise have accepted, JMO's not a number 1 receiver. Otherwise, they would not have given Amon-Ra that contract. Right. I don't think he's ever going to be a number 1. And that's okay. We missed on him. But if he can be a legit number 2, and if he can help our underneath receivers like Amon-Ra and some of these, and Gibbs and our other weapons, Laporta, if he can help those guys be open, then he's doing his job. He's doing what our team needs. He'll never be the number 1 receiver that we thought he was going to be. We took him. We thought he was going to be the next Jay Jettas, Jamar Chase. He's not, and that's okay. We missed. But can he be a number 2 guy that everyone's talking about? Can he be a home run hitter, when we need him to?
There's a difference between, missing and it's, Trey Lance, who drafted it. You took a ton of capital and you're literally just cutting your losses. And even halfway through his rookie contract, you're just like, F this, like not the guy. Go somewhere else.
You took a home run swing and you hit a double. You didn't hit a home run. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is. And it's Lions fans have to accept that and stop having these ridiculous, like he's never going to be what people have been talking about. He's never going to be that. He's just not consistent enough. So it is what it is. I hope that he gets closer to that, but he'll never be.
But like you said, if his hands become consistent enough where he's just stretching out the field enough for Laporta, Gibbs, Amon-Ra to get to work, that's a valuable asset in any offense. So absolutely. And I think you're right, though. And Mark, honestly, I think it's a very mature and sobering perspective where most people are saying either he's a bust, F this guy, or like, this dude is the second coming of Christ, and we just need to give him some more time, and he's going to be the next Jay Jettas.
I mean,
we can just find middle ground.
With JMO, it always feels like that debate. Like he either sucks or he's, he hasn't reached his potential yet. It's like, okay, both can be right. I don't think he's ever going to be as bad as people think he's going to be. I don't think he'll ever be as good as people talk about him being. He's just going to be what he is, and I hope he continues to improve. And I think that he will. And he's in the perfect situation for him to take steps forward because he doesn't have the pressure to be the top guy. Amon-Ra is that guy.
Right. And hey, like Brandon Ayuk, he took 3 years to really come on. And he, again, is he, as good as maybe Debo or Kittle for that offense, or as, I shouldn't even say as good, as vital for that offense as those other guys? Maybe not, but you saw what he did to us, in that championship game. Like, those guys are valuable assets, and all they need to do is make a couple plays like that a game to prove their worth. All right, moving on to this thread from James Foster, No Flags Film. He's breaking down just big throws, just big game throws, which is what, first of all, what we love and what we miss the most. If you're thinking like off season, we're still like 3 months away from like actual football. Like it's dog days right now, but when you close your eyes, you just imagine Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes slinging it way downfield and a receiver making a ridiculous catch that you didn't even think was physically possible. Like that's the stuff that gets me excited about the sport being still kind of far away, but at least we're sub 100 days. It's like not totally out of reach. Like that's the stuff that's getting me amped up right now.
I love looking at this stuff, John, too, because you see the 41, 5.6% of his throws were considered big time throws, which, I'm not sure exactly the metric that this guy used to make it, but I'm assuming third down, red zone, fourth down, 25 or more yard throws. Like I'm assuming that's all put into considered big time. But I think it's a really cool stat to look at because it shows you like how do quarterbacks play in the biggest moments? When you have to have it, what kind of things can they do? right? And I think Josh Allen today, we're going to start with Josh Allen and Mahomes, but we're going to try to do, a majority of these quarterbacks and see how they did, because some obviously a lot better than others.
Yeah. What speed would you prefer to watch this at? Just full speed in general, or should I
Yeah,
keep this
probably.
like
I'd say
75?
probably half speed or 0.75, and just kind of just let it play and kind of talk through it.
Yeah.
We got against the Chiefs. It's some of the little things, like a hesitation move while scrambling, and then, I mean, ball placement. Like, Josh Allen ball placement on the run is as good as anybody.
It's ridiculous.
That's all arm. That's all arm. Like, he doesn't even
Right. He's not stepping into that in a way that really is adding too much behind it.
Love the active feet here, stepping into it. This is the one that was dropped by Diggs. Pretty much the last, the last thing Bills fans will remember with Diggs in that uniform. I mean, that's
so
such
brutal.
a perfectly placed throw, from that angle too, right? A lot of people never have seen that. Another playoff throw here. Just love it. Just right on the money, Dalton Kincaid. Off his back foot, falling away, perfectly placed. This one, of course, he comes down with.
Yeah,
this was a must. This was a must-win game for them, right, to get the 2 seed. It was this or the 6 seed, I believe. Winner of this game was going to get the 2 seed.
That was such a wacky situation.
I mean, it just
that,
kind of opens your eyes too,
that?
right? That was Cook dropping a touchdown, like it just a perfect throw. Gives you a little perspective too on quarterbacks, and you look at like completion percentage and stuff like that. Like there's hidden things like that people forget about. Just perfect on the money, pump fake, whole shot throw. I love how, you notice how easy Josh Allen makes like these throws look. Like they look effortless. Guy's just got one of the most talented arms. His feet are never not moving. He can throw from so many different platforms. Keeps his eyes downfield whenever he's scrambling.
Ridiculous. That is just, I mean, the scrambling
on the run.
Yeah, I got to rewatch that.
Just manipulating,
he's reacting to so much pressure. I mean, look at this. Like, D-line's doing a bang-up job here. I mean, you have pressure coming from the edge, you have pressure coming from the inside, and you have pressure coming from the opposite edge. Like, legit pressure. Like, this guy's almost home. This guy's doing the right thing, and this guy's doing the right thing. And his ability to just evade all of that, get downfield, and then throw, a 60-yard touchdown pass is ridiculous. So sick.
And notice these aren't just like he's putting the big time throws. Like a lot of these are incompletions. Like he's just showing his big time throws.
Right.
Like this isn't necessarily just his best throws. Like this is just like gotta have it big time throw moments. It's not just his best throws. This probably is the best one of the year. I mean, this was on Aliens of the Week.
So ridiculous.
And then just fumble the ball.
How do you fumble that? Oh, man.
Just makes you appreciate the position, man, from this camera view. I mean,
brutal. Man, Cook is. I understand he's a running back, but it's tough watching some of these. Just how perfect some of the placement is on them. I don't know. How do you feel about Cook as far as fantasy goes? Just moderately changing subjects a little bit.
Don't love it.
Yeah.
I don't love any Bills running back. They don't utilize them.
Right.
Josh Allen takes all the red zone points. Josh Allen's going to take a lot of rushing attempts away from him. I really don't like taking a Bills running back unless you absolutely have to. Sits the receiver down. I mean,
great feet there.
He made those Kelly Greens look like shit, dude.
Another one where you're getting a whole lot of white in the uniform, and it looks sick. Like you can't even deny it. But
he's gonna miss Diggs, man. I know they got Keon Coleman, but
oh man, their receiving core is gonna need some love. That's for sure. I mean, the nice part is they have 2 solid tight ends. With the way that the Bills play football, I think like you can get away with that. But there's gonna be some growing pains this year. But luckily, you have a guy like Josh Allen. That is going to, get more out of his players than the average quarterback will.
I mean, that's absolutely true. He's going to make everybody around him better. But I look at just how he manipulates defenders that are down the field.
Yeah.
Like as he scrambles, he's looking and turning his body, shoulders, hips to make defenders bite on other routes, to open up throws behind it. I mean, you can see what he's doing there.
Right.
Freezing that linebacker, just holding him there, thinking that someone's coming to that zone, and then he throws the dig route behind it. And he's so much more athletic than people think.
Him and Mahomes both have pretty, prominent dad bods, and they're
they can
athletic
move.
and as fast as you could ever imagine. Yeah. So
terrible drop. Love the Bills Reds.
You see, I hate the color red, so I'm not big on these, honestly.
That is so gross. Did you see that throw?
Let's back it up. Brutal drop.
This throw is just, you're not supposed to be able to do this.
Insane.
I mean, that's.
You like these Reds, truly?
I like the Reds. It fits what they are, dude. The Bills, they got that red in their color scheme.
Yeah, there's just too many red, white, and blue teams.
I like it better than the Patriots throwback Reds.
Definitely.
Yeah, Miami just blitzed the crap out of him. He just ripped him apart.
For real.
Just made him pay every single time. I mean, look at, they're just bringing pressure, and he's just making them pay. Diggs had that hot start to the season. People forget.
Yeah.
Like first 6-7 games, he was one of the top receivers in the league.
There must have been some legitimate interpersonal issues going on.
I mean, you saw the clip of him in the press conference just the other day talking about how Josh is still his guy and all. But I think something had to happen, man.
Yeah, I don't know if it was
Josh,
Stephon, or Diggs, and even the front office or whatever, but something was going on there for sure.
I just hope that they can replace his production somehow.
They'll find a way. I mean, all great, like I said, great quarterbacks figure it out. Yeah, letting Davis go too is crazy.
Gabe Davis was only as good as he was, though, because of Diggs.
Yeah. Well, like I said, great quarterbacks figured it out. Mahomes figured it out. Pretty much changed his entire play style in accordance with his receiving core, and it still worked out. We're about to cover next, too.
Yeah, like Gabe Davis is one of those number 2 receivers that played like a number 1 because of his situation.
Right.
Like that's what JMO's got to learn how to do.
Right.
Take advantage of the fact that you have a true number 1 receiver that everyone respects as your number 1 receiver and make the most of it. You're not going to get the toughest cover guy on you most of the time. So take advantage of that.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how Davis is going to do in Jacksonville with their entire situation. But
so go back to the tweet here for Mahomes, John. So Josh Allen had 41 big time throws. Mahomes here has 39 big time throws. 4.61% of his throws were considered big time throws. So pretty similar.
Now
with
Josh Mahomes, though,
has to do a little bit more.
I was gonna say, this year of the Chiefs' offense was totally dictated by a complete makeover in how they run their offense. I mean, the big play, bombs downfield, whatever, like kind of format that they had with Tyreek, like that kind of shifted over the past couple of years, and like Reed found a way to adjust the offense to make it successful. You know, I watched a big thing too recently just about how this is mostly a defensive adjustment thing, right? It's like the middle of the field is significantly more open than it used to be, because people are trying to protect the deep ball more. But Mahomes still does ridiculous shit like this.
People forget,
every once in a
and this
while.
is in the Super Bowl, and it goes unnoticed because of everything else that happened. But that was
Right.
back shoulder, great chemistry, him and Kelsey. I mean, the only way that throw happens is thousands of reps, just him and Kelsey, you know, under the lights, just practicing by themselves. Like that's how that back shoulder throw happens. I don't know what it is, man, but like the playoffs, Mahomes and Kelsey, they just reach a new level.
Yep.
Perfectly thrown over their shoulder. On just their ability, I'm telling you, like when you watch from this end zone clip of him and Josh Allen, like we just watched, the similarities of how they move and manipulate.
Right.
There's really
how much should
no
we
one
be
else that
concerned
does
for a
that.
three-peat, Mark? Because I'm legitimately concerned, and almost in an annoying way.
Always concerned when it's this dude taking the snaps, and when it's Andy Reid creating offensive game plans. Always have to be concerned. I mean, they're not even close to the most talented offense.
Right.
It's not even. They're not even in, I would say, the top 8.
Their entire season this past season was literally the definition of it was just drops. Like for the
they have
first
maybe a top 15 running back. They have maybe a top 25 receiving core.
And it might be harder this year. It might be. I mean, Rice might not play half of the season. We don't know what's going to happen with that.
But they have Xavier Worthy that's going to spice things up for him.
100%. But he's a rookie, so you know it's going to be weird.
John, they will find a way to be in the mix. And if you give Mahomes the ball with a chance to win big games, I mean, are you watching what I'm watching?
It's insane.
That's a running back making that catch. Like it's just. The stuff that they do and they get away with. I'll tell you what, MVS has drought problems and has for a long time. It's not just like people only talk about the ones that like end up costing them games at the end. That is
disgusting.
I mean, that is
I'm gonna
across the field. That is so gross. You're not ever supposed to do this. This is one of those throws where the coaches are like, oh no, oh no, oh no. Like while he's doing it, and then completes the ball. You should never do this, ever, quarterbacks. Never throw across the middle of the field. You got to be so confident to even choose to throw that ball.
Right.
No-look pass. Another no-look pass. That was on Aliens. It's so gross. The placement is just...
The traffic he throws it into there.
I mean, and it's so funny because they took hate and criticism like all year. And he was doing stuff like this. Like we're watching throws that he made in the regular season. That's the drop everyone's going to talk about. You know,
it's so bad.
Eagles game. Perfectly placed throw. God. You just see the torque he has when he releases the ball. Like you can see it all from his midsection. It's all from his, like another drop. That's a catchable ball. Tough catch, but catchable ball.
Oh my God.
What?
Oh my God.
I mean, John.
Big time throw. This is a big time scramble. Like
look what it's doing to this. Look what it's doing to the secondary.
It's
like,
so
how
crazy.
do you think these guys end up so wide open? I mean, a drop, touchdown drop.
So many of those.
You think about if these drops weren't happening, like what would his completion percentage be? Because he was still in the high 60s.
Right. So probably one of the most frustrating years he's had to play, and still ends up a Super Bowl
visibly frustrating, and then they still end up with a ring on their finger.
So ridiculous.
back shoulder. Kelsey had drop problems this year. Like many big time moments, Kelsey dropped the ball. Not in the playoffs, but
Right. He was dealing with injury all season, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Also, not to mention, on top of all of this, their offensive line's not that good, and they might be
they're average
at best. Honestly, they're average because refs keep flags in their pockets more often. I mean, seriously, like there are so many times where the tackles just totally blow their assignment right off the get-go with the ball.
Look at Kelsey and pass pro there, allowing that to happen. You don't see that too often.
Oh man,
I mean, he throws this ball. Look where the receiver is when he throws it. Didn't even break out of his top of his route yet.
yeah, the anticipation there is so ridiculous. Insane.
Anticipation, the touch he puts on everything. That is so gross. Just manipulating guys, man. Look one way, throw the other way. The no-look pass has become like a problem. Everyone's doing it. You see a mini camp, everyone's doing it.
You can get away with it, dude.
I mean, it's just for show. It's just for show at this point. A lot of these, that was to like maybe potentially win the game, by the way. And that's another drop.
Oh yeah.
Another one across his body that you should never throw. And a look at the Lions secondary, like clueless.
You gonna miss Cam Sutton, buddy?
Not at all.
Did you see he re-signed with the Steelers?
I mean, he'll probably go there and be a Pro Bowler.
Probably. Who knows? Honestly. Well, I'm feeling pretty good about our secondary moving forward here, though. For those that made it through the whole episode, we really appreciate it. Like I said, we're middle of the off season here, but hopefully we brought some entertaining content to you guys. And hey, we're about 3 weeks out from doing our divisional previews, which are a lot of fun. We got fantasy football to cover about 3-4 weeks after that. And then it is truly like training camp preseason time and things will start coming together. So appreciate everybody bearing with us. And hopefully the off season's treating you well. You're playing some golf, hanging out at the pool, drinking some beers.
Enjoy while you have it.
All that good stuff.
Enjoy while you have it. Football's it's coming back.
Oh, it's
coming back
very,
in a big way.
Very, very close. All right. We'll see everybody later. Thanks again for watching. See you next week. Peace.